Dark psychology and politics. Let's examine some common manipulation tactics used in politics. Gaslighting. Politicians deny objective facts, making people question their own perceptions. Imagine a leader asserting, "What you're seeing and what you're reading is not what's happening," despite clear evidence to the contrary. Fear-mongering. This involves exaggerating threats to exploit public anxieties. Politicians might demonize certain groups or portray themselves as the sole protection against exaggerated dangers. The us versus them mentality. This creates artificial divisions to foster tribalism. You might hear rhetoric like, "If you're not with us, you're against us," portraying political opponents as enemies of the state. Scarcity tactics. These suggest limited opportunities to drive action. A politician might declare, "This is your last chance to save our country." The authority principle. This relies on people's tendency to obey authority figures. Politicians may present themselves as the only ones with the knowledge or power to solve problems. A Stoic's Guide to Recognizing Manipulation. Now let's explore how we can apply Stoic principles to recognize and counter these manipulation tactics, drawing inspiration from ancient philosophers. 1. Practice emotional regulation. When faced with provocative rhetoric, pause and allow your initial emotional reaction to subside. This creates space for a more rational response. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, was known for his self-control. When angered, he would pause and reflect before responding, a practice that became central to Stoic philosophy. Focus on reason and logic. Analyze arguments rationally rather than reacting emotionally. Look for evidence and logical consistency. During the Antonine Plague, Marcus Aurelius maintained his composure and made rational decisions for the empire's welfare, demonstrating his ability to remain objective in crisis. 2. Maintain perspective. Remember that most political issues are not existential threats, despite heated rhetoric. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." 3. Practice negative visualization. Imagine worst-case scenarios to reduce anxiety about potential outcomes and build resilience. Seneca regularly practiced imagining the loss of his wealth and status. When exiled by Emperor Claudius, he was mentally prepared, having already visualized such a scenario. 4. Focus on what you can control. Concentrate on your own thoughts and actions, rather than external events. Epictetus, born a slave, applied this principle throughout his life. He taught that true freedom comes from focusing on our own choices, rather than external circumstances, famously saying, "Some things are in our control and others not." 5. Engage in regular self-reflection. Examine your beliefs and biases. Are they based on reason or emotion? Epictetus taught his students to pause and examine their impressions before acting on them, saying, "Don't let the force of an impression when it first hits you knock you off your feet. Just say to it, 'Hold on a moment.'" 6. Study philosophy and history. Gain perspective by understanding past political challenges and philosophical insights. Musonius Rufus, when exiled by Nero, used reason to accept his situation, viewing it as an opportunity to practice his philosophy, rather than a punishment. By applying these Stoic principles, we can better recognize manipulation tactics, maintain emotional composure, and focus on ideas and policies rather than personal attacks. This approach allows us to navigate the complex political landscape with clarity and integrity, contributing to a more thoughtful and ethical political discourse. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius stated, everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Receive information impartially first before assessing if it aligns with reality. By cultivating this inner strength and wisdom, we can contribute to a more thoughtful, ethical political discourse. Thank you for joining this exploration of Stoic wisdom and political psychology. Stay curious and rational, and keep striving for virtue in all aspects of life, including politics.